Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Marie here and I'm back with another process video for my creative scrapbook using their March main kit. So this one is a very blue layout. I decided to go with all the blues. I'm actually using the piece of cardstock that comes out of the cardstock stickers pack to back my photograph because it seemed to match perfectly. And you will have already seen that I have backed my photograph with some of the stripy paper and some of the gingham blue paper, and I've half and half done it. So I've used ripped paper to do the top half of the word every, using that stripy paper. So there's a torn edge in the middle, you'll see it on the close-ups, and then the bottom half is that gingham. Now I've decided to do a strip of the blue stripy paper down the side of the page as well, because I want to kind of tie everything together, and more distress oxides and this stencil. This stencil comes as part of the kit and I absolutely love the stencil. The pattern it gives in the background is so soft and pretty, so I'm using it to just add a little bit of interest underneath where the photo and the cut file are going to go, using a couple of colours of distress oxide. So I've got tumbled glass and broken china. I popped a pencil line underneath where the paper was going to go, so I knew how far to go to with my distress oxides. I've now stuck that down and I'm just curling back the edge of that strip that I've stuck down the side, just to give a really kind of distressed look to that. And I'm doing my usual thing here of just adding the tiniest bit of colour to the top and the bottom of the scripty words on the cut file using some distress oxides. So starting with the lighter colour, adding the tiniest bit of the darker colour, and then just cleaning the rest of that off my desk. And it just gives it a lovely soft look. This photograph was taken, I believe it was either January or February 22. And we'd gone to Wales and we're looking out over the bay towards the Snowdonia mountain range. Absolutely stunning. And it was so cold, but it was a wonderful bright blue day, so I had a lovely day. Decided to add a little bit of extra pattern paper down this edge, just another colour. So some of the gingham paper now is going on in exactly the same way that I did with the stripy. It's going down there. It looks to cover a lot of the stripy paper up, but then what I do is I peel an awful lot of it backwards. So you can see that white edge, and it gives a lovely distressed look to that side. And I pop some foam on the back of my photograph to give that a little bit of dimension and stick that down. I think I stick that down straight away. I'm getting brave. I used to leave everything till the very end and not stick a thing down. And now I'm getting braver now, and I actually stick things down as I go. So putting some adhesive foam dots on the back of my cut file, except for where it overlaps the photograph, because that's already got dimensions, so it doesn't need any more. And the tiny little strips of self-adhesive foam on the thicker parts of the cut file to hold that down, hold it up as well. So you get that kind of lovely shadowy effect on your page when you look at it. So lots of foam gone on there. It's going to just take me a second now to peel all the bits off. I keep a little bin to the side of me on my desk where all my little backs of all the adhesive go, so that I don't end up with them everywhere. I do like to I try and stay tidy. And I do tidy up in between every layout as well. If I make a layout and then I have a tidy, and then I make another layout, and then I have a tidy, and then I make another layout. It's just the way I work. So popping down that cut file now. I was going to check with a T-square ruler, but I can't find my T-square ruler. I don't know what I've done with it. So I'm just going to do it by eye. Never mind. Bit of glue on the end of that T there to make sure that stays stuck down. And then that word grateful just seemed to fit beautifully with the theme, love every moment. And then what I've decided to do for this layout is use loads of the title pieces that came in one of the packs as part of the kit. So there was a titles pack and an ephemera pack, and there were just loads of titles, and there were loads of blue ones. I was like, oh, that's perfect. So just chosen all the ones that are blue and that fit with this layout to kind of stack down that edge there. And I just love the way it looks. It's just a different way of using those titles, because sometimes when you get a pack of titles, you can be left over with quite a few if you only choose to use one or two of them. And I had, like I say, I had loads left, so I thought, right, we'll use those as a feature for this page. I decided it just needs a little bit of something, so fussy cut one of those blue flowers from one of the pieces of ephemera, and then doing the same again with another one, which is just going to get tucked in around my photograph. And then I decided actually I could do with some more of those. I did wonder about that square, but it looked a bit weird, so I took that back off again. Found some little hearts from the sticker sheet that I thought would work. And then I found what was left of this paper. I've already made a layout with this paper that you can see just to the left there, which is, on the other side of it, it's all kind of a corally pink colour with repeated flowers on. And I fussy cut loads of those and created a whole layout of those. Just watch out on my Instagram for that particular layout. But this is what's left. And on the back of it were these sort of diamonds with little flowers in. And I spotted a couple of yellow ones and a couple of blue ones. I've decided to pull in a little bit of yellow. There's no yellow in my photograph, but the little pops of yellow I just thought gave just those extra little dots of colour on a very blue layout, and I did like that. I am trying to be more adventurous with my colours. I will happily stick to one colour on a layout. I have no problem making monochromatic layouts whatsoever, but decided, yeah, a little bit of colour. So found a little yellow heart and some little yellow flowers. So just quickly fussy cutting around those and tucking them in at various points around the words and around the title and photograph as well. So I haven't got many. I think I've got maybe I think there's 3 of each, maybe 4 blue ones and 3 yellow ones. But that's all it needed. And they are very small, but it's all it needed to add that extra, just kind of bit of softness and prettiness to the page. Any excuse to put flowers on a page. I love flowers. So I'm just popping little bits of glue on them now. I'm having terrible trouble with my glue at the moment. It's nearly at the end, and I think there's a lump of dried glue inside it and it never wants to come out. I'm kind of resisting the temptation to start a new glue. I don't really want to start a new glue. Just gone to get another little pin to try and get the glue to come apart. So at this point I am using a variety of little dots and glue to stick down the flowers in place, and then to also stick down the titles. Now the titles are going over quite a bumpy line, if you like, where I've distressed the edges of those pieces of cardstock down the right hand side. It's quite raised, so what I end up doing is putting dimensional dots on each end of each title and nothing in the middle, so that they can just sit across that raised section. And I love the way, I mean I have covered most of it up, but I love the way you can just see that stenciling through what I've done. So the little bit behind it, the little bit behind the title, a little bit behind the photograph, and there's just those little hints of it sticking out. And I think that's what adds interest to a page. I mean, I quite often do that. I'll do some mixed media on the background, and then you'll find you'll stick your photograph down and cover most of it up, but I don't mind, because it really is, it's about the photograph, isn't it? It's also about the process, I suppose. I love the process of scrapbooking. So there's me just popping down the last of my titles. I'm just going to play around with the placement now, because it looked a bit too much in line. So I needed to change that. This is another piece of ephemera here that had a yellow, a blue and an orange flower on. Now the orange flower didn't work, but the blue and the yellow did. So they got fussy cut and popped on as well. And I'm really pleased with the design of this. So I'm going to do some white splatters. I'm going to do some blue splatters. I thought I was going to do white ones, so I do blue ones. I figured it's quite pale already. The white ones would just get lost. So lots of lovely blue splatters. And then the last thing I decided to do is to pull out some sequins. Now I ummed and ahed whether to do blue or yellow, but because there's not much yellow, I've decided to go with just a few extra pops of yellow by adding just a few sequins to the mix as well. And I think it just adds that extra little bit of sparkle, that extra little bit of interest, and I love it. I'm really pleased with how this has turned out. And if you stay tuned just for a couple more minutes, you will see the finished products and lots of close-ups coming your way. Oh, I've just got to stick these hearts down first. I think I'd forgotten to stick those down. There we go. And there's the finished products. I'm so pleased with it. Thank you ever so much for watching my video today. I've really enjoyed making this page. If you're not already a subscriber to my channel, please consider subscribing. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I will see you again in the next one. Bye for now.